Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of About Nothing But Sports. I'm your host, Ashley Baker, and I have another banger in store for y'all, per usual. As you can see, this dynamic, beautiful woman on the screen, my girl, Bally Sports Reporter, Fox Sports Reporter. Listen, you all over the place. You really got like 20 more titles, Kelsey. Like for real.
We won't discuss that, Ashley. We won't discuss that.
We really can't fit it all in this opening, soliloquy here. But Miss Kelsey Nicole Nelson, thank you for joining About Nothing But Sports this week, sis. How are you?
Honor and pleasure, sis. I'm honored to be on here, my DMV sister. And I'm in good with family. Ashley, I've known you for so long. And honestly, just proud of your growth, proud of this show. And so I'm honored to be on. I know we're going to have fun.
Thank you. We definitely are. So I remember really quick. So I remember when I first got into the industry, both of our mentors, Michael Lau, was like, You got to meet Kelsey Nelson. And I remember like, hey, I'm Ashley Baker. Can we get together for lunch so you can, teach me a couple things? He was like, yeah, we're gonna. She's always been like super nice. She was always super like welcoming and always super willing. So I've always appreciated that about you, sis. Like seriously, like from
you
the
are
jump,
so sweet.
You never
Ashley.
made me feel like you were too much up here, and I was like,
girl, I am so simple. I am so just regular girl. You know this already, Ashley. But growing up in the DMV and then spending my summers down south, like I feel like I just have the Southern soul. I generally do like people and being around.
Do you prefer
people.
the city or the country?
I'm suburban, so I need that mix, Ashley. So actually, right before the show, I was signing my new apartment lease, and where I'm moving to, Ashley, is suburban in the city. So I'm so excited that I get the best of both worlds. Like Rock Creek Park is behind me, but then straight city is in front of me, busy traffic. So I need that mix, Ashley. I need that.
I know mix. You need to hear it's like horns honking all night. And look, I can't do that. I can't.
Yes, and then I need chipmunks in the back. I just depends on my mood.
I got you. I feel you on that. So I'm not gonna hold you too long. I told you that. I'm not gonna hold you too long. We're both busy. So I know you got stuff to do. And again, I really appreciate you even jumping in and stopping through to the show. So we'll start there. We kind of both touched on just the beginning of everything. So as brief as possible, because you girlfriend got a lot going on, y'all. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm boring. Don't listen to Ashley.
As brief as possible. Like, how did you start? How did you know that sports media was where you wanted to be?
Yeah, I tell people all the time, I'm so lucky to be born into a sports family. I come from an HBCU sports family. So what I knew growing up was Jackson State, because all my aunts went there, and Maryland State University, because my dad went there. So I grew up in the world of football.
Look, shout out to Coach Prime.
Bill Grambling and Hugh Jackson are going to beat you, Coach Prime, this year. Best believe I'm going with Grand Fam in that game. That's what I knew actually growing up. And then, of course, growing up in the DMV as well, being a Boys and Girls Club kid, I went to a bunch of free games growing up, getting to see these. I went to the Frederick Keys games, to shout out to the minor league baseball. But then I also go to Washington Wizards games. And even I sit all the way at the top in that last row, which is probably why I'm afraid of heights still till this day. I was thankful to be there and, honored to see these great players. So for me, sports was everything. I played a bunch of sports growing up. Shout out to the scars that are still on my leg till this day because of the sports I played growing up, Ashley. But, I loved it. And so went to University of Maryland for undergrad, obviously a big sports school. Excited to see my Terps on CBS now. Shout out to the Big Ten and that new deal. Excited to play some West Coast schools now. And then went on to Georgetown, of course, for grad school. And as you know, growing up in this area, Hoya paranoia was real. I still remember my Georgetown starter jacket I had growing up. All of my old University of Maryland gear. Shout out to the classic throwback jerseys the Wizards are bringing back. It's not
I'm so excited for the throwback jerseys.
I'm excited. I'm going back in the closet, back to my parents' house and grabbing my old jerseys, y'all. So I will be rocking those this season. But that was honestly how I got into sports. And luckily for me, and when I was at Maryland, I've always been hungry. So I always volunteered for opportunities. All my first gigs were unpaid. I paid money there to get there on Metro. Always caught the last train home. Back home. And cover high school sports. That's how I started. And luckily high school sports in the DMV are really and still pretty good. So the best. Like literally, we come from two of the biggest counties here in Maryland, right? Montgomery County and Prince George's County. So that's how I started, Ashley. And then honestly just kept growing, networking, name kept growing, brand kept building. So I fell into freelancing, and that's kind of what I do till this day.
Yeah, so just as an FYI, folks, I already know this story. Okay, this is what
Ashley does. She knows
I already
everything.
know the story. But for the listeners of About Nothing But Sports that are not familiar with you, that's really great to hear. It's great to just be able to see a woman in sports. Of course, we get praises for that all the time. It's not easy, you know what I mean?
Oh,
But I think that Kelsey is literally like the epitome of like hard work and like just grinding, yo. Like you literally like got it from the mud, sis. I will admit.
Literally, Ashley, what is it? All my life, grinding all my life. Like that's literally like my mindset. And Ashley knows this, but like I'm the worst kind of friend sometimes for like social events because I'm always working, and I know I'm that person, but it's literally just because like I don't know, the grind has just been real for me, and especially when you come from where I come from, no connects, nobody had worked in sports in my family. Like I'm the first doing this, I'm just trying to figure things out along the way, and I feel like I'm only getting older, so I'm like I want to get in, folks. Like I love doing this. Obviously, high energy. Passionate about this, Ashley. So for me, like every day, just working, making sure I'm walking in faith in my purpose and trying to reach that goal.
Yeah. And one of the goals is, you working closely with the DMV sports teams, right? So, you've worked with the Commanders. Boy, I was about to call them something else.
I know, Commanders.
You work with the Commanders. You don't work with the Ravens, obviously. Obviously
Washington Valor,
League. Obviously, you're plugged into like the Terps and everything like that. So let me make sure. Let me see if I remember this. To your core, you're a Ravens fan.
I am. I'm a Maryland girl, born and bred. Okay. I like crab cakes, Ravens football, and Lido's pizza. Very simple girl, folks. Very simple girl.
Listen, seriously, those that are listening from the DMV area, Lido's or nothing.
Like, honestly, they understand. Really, and shout out to the new one they put in BWI, Ashley. When I was going to Vegas, got to get my Lido's pizza.
They have one in the airport?
And the Southwest Terminal. See, Ashley, I don't know if you took Southwest. It might be bougie, Ashley, but in the Southwest Terminal, they have Lido's.
Oh, that's new, though.
Oh, yeah, it's new. And I will be flying out of BWI lots of ways to that.
Right.
So hi, everybody at BWI.
Okay. No, I love Lido's. Lido's is amazing. But, and I think you like them a lot, too, because aren't they, like, sponsored by, like, the Terps or something?
Yeah, College Park, shout out to the discounts they used to give us at, College Park days when I was broke. So I appreciate it, Ashley.
For sure. So let's tap into some sports talk because that's what the focus is.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
It's mini camp, it's training camp.
Training camp,
right?
Preseason,
yes. Training camp, preseason, Ravens football, right? So I know that you are tapped into Glenn and Rita's show.
Yes.
In Baltimore. Yeah, so I know you're probably, you love doing that with them, of course, but I need you to talk a little bit more Ravens football here, sis.
All right, let's do some Ravens. It's good because, I talk basketball a lot with them. But, the Ravens, I think, are one of those teams this year that a lot of people actually, quite frankly, are kind of seeing like as an underdog, right? Of course, Lamar Jackson in his contract that we need to give him. It needs to happen. We're hoping it happens before week 1. But honestly, from what I'm hearing out of Baltimore and Ravens camp, I don't think it's going to happen before week 1, right? So we know Lamar is still going to be playing on that last year of the rookie contract, right? So, I think that makes people, of course, it makes them more curious because we saw Kyler Murray get paid. Of course, Deshaun Watson get paid outside of all the other stuff happening around Deshaun Watson. So folks, are like, geez, like Lamar, it's bad enough he was taken as the last pick in the first round. He's been an MVP. He's proven himself. He's in the top categories pretty much in every single category. But yet, like, y'all still won't pay this man. And of course, he's unconventional, actually, not having an agent. His mom really helping to represent him. But shout out to his mama, because she's basically doing what LeVar Ball did, honestly, for the Ball brothers. And she's making sure she's taking care of her babies, as moms do. And I know people wanted to speed up. Lamar, the thing about him is he's such a hard worker. But I think having him at the core, that's Ravens football. Because if you watch Ravens games, there's going to be a lot of games that come down to the wire. That's why Justin Tucker just got his contract extension, because you know how important he is. And it's so nice to have a kicker that can pretty much boot it from anywhere. And it's most likely a future first ballot Hall of Famer. So shout out to Justin Tucker putting on for kickers.
Dallas need a Justin Tucker. Dallas need
well, y'all
Justin
have receivers that we need. All right. Because that's the area that we're worried about for the Ravens, right? The wide receiver position. All right. Because Baltimore for a long time, Sammy Watkins gone now. And obviously he wasn't really the Sammy Watkins that we knew in Baltimore, Ashley, but that veteran wide receiver, Hollywood Brown, gone. So now you have these young guys that need to step up. Of course, everybody knows Mark Andrews is a beast, but last year what really hurt the Ravens, especially at the end, is you knew we were going to target Mark Andrews because that man can catch everything, which means you need to open the passing game and you need some sure-handed wide receivers. So there's a lot of talk about Bateman. Of course, in the preseason game, we got to see other stars emerge, and shout out to Isaiah Likely, another tight end that I'm really liking. So his versatility. He looked really good, Ashley. But I think that's going to be the core because Greg Roman is still at the helm. Ravens fans, I know you're probably making a face right now. Are you
like an anti-Greg Roman as well?
I'm anti-Greg Roman, but actually I know everything he's going to do. So if I know everything he's going to do, I know the defenses know everything he's going to do. So that's what it is, I think, with Greg Roman. And that's what we want to see, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, why they're so fun to watch. I know, shout out to Mark Reynolds. He will understand this. They're fun to watch because they can do so much offensively, Ashley. They bring so much to you from their playbook. Yeah. Baltimore, I think, has the opportunity to do that, especially when you look at the backup quarterbacks behind Lamar Jackson who play just like him. Switch it up sometimes, make them think. Obviously, folks know Lamar can run, but it's we have to just do more. And right now with what Greg Roman is doing, it seems very basic. Ashley, and basic is not going to win you a championship in the National Football League. Not when you got Tom Brady back, all right? Not when you got Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I didn't mention him, folks. She did. You know what I'm saying? She mentioned the GOAT for me, guys. I'm just saying. So for once on this show, I didn't bring up Tom Brady first. She did. You know what I'm saying?
I did, folks. I'm sorry I had to. But it's a whole nother level of football when you have somebody like him. So I think, honestly, Baltimore, I think they will be fine because, again, Baltimore, let's remember, they're known for their defense. Marcus Peters is coming back. That's huge. Health was a huge problem for the Ravens last year. You get a healthy Marlon Humphrey back. So I think that's going to be huge. And our secondary, their secondary can play good because last year the secondary, got beat. They got beat bad. And I'm going to call it out right here.
I'm hearing that Baltimore is going to have a pretty good defense this year.
And they need to. That's Ravens football. That's been the Ravens' identity, all right? Since the Ravens obviously came to Baltimore. That's Ravens. Ravens games, especially Ravens Steelers, are going to be hard-hitting, hard-nosed, and come down to the wire. That's how the Ravens play. Now, we love when the Ravens get big leads, but at the same time, that's not going to be every Baltimore game. We know our defense versus turnovers. Marcus Peters leads the NFL right now in interceptions. So getting him back healthy is going to be huge. We used to have the ball hawk Ed Reed on that team. Now it's Marcus Peters, right? The torch has been passed. Our defense is known to get turnovers. We need that. And especially, again, when you have young receivers that Lamar is going to throw to, Ashley, Ravens need a short field to play with, all right? And again, luckily they have Justin Tucker, but still, you want to give them a short field to get down in the end zone, Ashley. So I feel confident about Baltimore, but the wide receiving core, again, is going to be where everything is. There's a reason why Lamar tweeted that emoji when Hollywood Brown announced he was leaving. Yeah, and we found out because that was his guy. They go back to the Florida days. They've known each other for so long. And much like Aaron Rodgers getting mad at his wide receivers in Green Bay, Lamar is going to have to make a connection with these receivers. And of course, we know he's not playing the preseason, like most starters aren't doing much in the preseason, but he's going to have to form some chemistry with them once again, because you can't just target Mark Andrews, Nick Boyle, and the other great tight ends that we have. We need to spread that offense so much more, Ashley.
I feel like
Baltimore, listen to a girl.
Look, I feel like a lot of what you're saying is a lot of what I've been hearing from Baltimore fans. So y'all are kind of on the same accord here. You know what I mean? As far as Lamar's contract, the things that they would like to see from Greg Roman, the things that they would like to see from the wide receiver core, and the expectations that you guys have for the defense. So let's bring it down the beltway.
One more thing, Ashley. Penalties also. Baltimore can clean up the penalties.
I know about that, right?
I wasn't going to say anything about Dallas, Ashley, but you got to clean up those penalties. They hurt you too much, and they're hard to come back from. Once again, when you have these high-powered quarterbacks in the National Football League,
because those quarterbacks are going to capitalize off of those mistakes.
They will,
Ashley.
So
you can't give folks like Patrick Mahomes, and especially you guys, because you guys are in the AFC. So you really can't get folks like Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Josh Allen.
Yeah, look at all those quarterbacks, Ashley.
No. Right, exactly.
More pressure on that defense,
Exactly. And
right.
Just y'all's division in general is a tough division. I mean,
AFC
is what it is.
It's hard, like you said, because, right now, of course, the Steelers, we have questions about who's going to be that quarterback. And rest in peace, Dwayne Haskins. That's been a personal pet peeve of mine. I don't see enough tributes happening for him. The Ravens honored Jalen Ferguson, may he rest in peace, and Tony Saragusa before their preseason game. I just feel like the Steelers have almost forgotten Dwayne Haskins like legacy, and I would love to see that honored more. But once again, we need to see who the Steelers starting quarterback is going to be. The Cleveland Browns, obviously, we just found out a big bombshell. So
yeah, Deshaun is out until week. Well, he returns back. He's gone for 11 games, suspended for 11 games, plus a $5 million fine. And then he's back week 12 against his old Texans team. How much of a coincidence? I love the NFL. I love the NFL loving to make things spicy.
It just so happened.
No biggie. We'll just bring him. We'll just have him walk back to shame to Houston. So yeah,
they wanted that competition. And then the last team in that division, you have Joey Burrow, of course, of the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's like you said, it's a hard-hitting division. Obviously, we know the Bengals have really gained some respect after last season, going to the Super Bowl. And we know they've only gotten better. And mind you, shout out to their wide receivers. Talk about a quarterback who has some sure-handed guys to throw to and a nice run game. So again, Baltimore is going to have to take every game seriously. But once again, you can't have those penalties, folks. Baltimore got eaten up by that last season. They're going to have to clean it up this season.
I think they will. I think you guys
are better.
Healthy. You had a lot of people in and out of the lineup too, and cohesiveness is a big thing. Even with penalties, cohesiveness and chemistry matters, right? So I think you guys will definitely clean it up this season. But like I was saying, we're going down the Beltway. Let's travel down the Beltway.
We're in traffic a bit, but we're gonna get there.
On 95. Yeah, let's travel on 95 to the nation's capital, where the Commanders reside. I know that you are familiar with some of their things in training camp as well, but I'll ask you one specific question about the Commanders.
Ready for it, Ashley. I feel like something mean is coming. I'm like, look, let me pull up the romper. Let me prepare for this, Ashley.
No. I'm not gonna throw no shade. Okay. However, I will ask. Okay, so obviously Carson Wentz, the new quarterback. Jahan Dotson at wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, who in my opinion is the best receiver in the NFC East.
Underrated. Yeah,
it drives me nuts. And they dropped like this top 100 list for NFL, and he's not on it at all.
He didn't make it. And Washington felt that disrespect, and best believe Terry's going to go off this season because I think he will. On the other side of the ball, your defense, we have Chase Young returning. Montez Sweat is still, a Commander as well. Yeah. So, what we were expecting, I had Washington like a top 5 defense last year. On paper. They fulfill that, and a lot of that was because of the injuries and, specifically the injury to Chase Young. But tell me your expectations of first the offense, and tell me your expectations of the defense, and where you think that Washington will finish in the division. Yeah, so the offense, all things revolve around a solid quarterback. We talked about the AFC and how blessed and lucky they are. Well, now eyes are all on Washington. The big piece last year, obviously Washington fans love Taylor Heineke, the legend of Taylor Heineke. National media didn't love him. It's on T-shirts, Ashley. We still love what he did against TB12. Tom Brady. So all that to say, though, I think Washington knew, Taylor Heineke is that guy that but all his capabilities, right? I know all he can give to me, but his liabilities, they keep starting to add up. And so I think right now Washington is seeing like Taylor is that good backup guy, right? But he can't be that man in front. So obviously Washington fans got hurt last season, game 1, Alex Fitzpatrick going down. Who would have thought that? So this season, all right, we need a general. Carson Wentz seems to be that guy. He doesn't get enough credit for what he did with the Colts previously. I know he has a lot of hate towards him. But Carson Wentz, again, solid. And the reason the Colts
definitely upgrade. Definitely an upgrade.
And a quarterback for sure. And Washington has been through quarterbacks like this the last 2 decades. So all that to say, Carson Wentz is there in the helm. I think, they're hoping that he can be the guy to, one, get the ball down the field. As you mentioned, the guy, Terry McLaurin, you're going to want to get the ball to him. You need to open up the offense. But then also, Carson Wentz and what we saw in the preseason game, even just those short chucks, getting those young receivers just involved in the running game. And then, of course, the running back game, which, by the way, Antonio Gibson getting a lot of hate right now for the fumble he had in the preseason game and people looking back to last year. But Washington's run game, there's a reason why Jennifer King, shout out to her as well, coach Jennifer King on that running back score. But the running game for Washington is really what helped to open them up when they were doing well last season. And they're going to want to do that again, Ashley. But again, all things revolve around Carson Wentz. But Taylor Heineke does need to be ready just in case Carson Wentz gets hurt. But the quarterback actually that everyone is talking about, and the one that they hope that they keep on the roster, is Sam Howell. Sam Howell impressed everybody. I was at that preseason game Let me tell you, Ashley. So my high school, Clarksburg High School, we were the Coyotes. We used to do a howl. Well, I was at the game when Sam Howell started playing good. Howl! Like I started hearing at the game, and the fans got so excited because he started to lead a comeback in a preseason game. And mind you, like it was a preseason game, but because Baker was there and all the storylines, with Baker Mayfield, like I felt like it was turned up a notch. Then we had the rally towels that they gave out at the game. So everything was just a little bit more intense. But he's a guy that folks are saying might be the future in Washington. I'm not ready to say that yet, Ashley. It's just one game,
I don't
one
know
sample
either.
size,
Yeah.
one sample size. It's preseason, folks. Like, let's be honest. Remember who you're playing against. Just remember all that. But I think people think the future of Washington is bright, and the NFC East. So let's be honest, Ashley. This is a division offensive wise that I don't think anybody, maybe other than the Philadelphia Eagles, because of the wide receivers that Jalen Hurts has. I think offensive-wise, there's questions, right? The Cowboys wide receivers, there's questions about, the New York Giants. I don't know if anybody's looking out for, Danny Jones and what he might do with that offense. I think offensive-wise, there's honestly questions all around the NFC East. Jalen Hurts, I think, has a lot to prove to folks. I like him as a quarterback, but, I think he has to, kind of like Carson Wentz, quiet a lot of the haters out there. But all that to say, I think Washington's offense can be solid. Again, I love the run game can be solid, Ashley. Then I like it. Robinson is a person that a lot of people came to like during that first preseason game in the backfield. So Carson, once again, he just has one job, keep the ball safe and get it downfield. Washington hasn't had a quarterback that can, a veteran quarterback.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that, Commanders fans? One job. He got one job. Don't
job,
Carson. That man is going to come here and run y'all to the Super Bowl. Okay, let's just have him focus on one job.
One job.
You know how your Commanders fans can be.
One job. Win the division. That's all we ask. And this division, I think, once again, is going to be very interesting.
Yeah,
this
I agree.
Football season. I do like the Eagles, though, Ashley. I'm not going to lie. I like them on paper.
I do too.
On paper, I like the Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry, Washington, just being real.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm a Cowboys fan. Everybody that's listening in knows that I'm a Cowboys fan, right? And even I, again, on paper, they had an incredible offseason. I mean, if we're just gonna be honest, they had an incredible offseason.
Yes.
So, I'm not that delusional yet with Dallas, where I don't see that, if they play the way they're supposed to play and Jalen Hurts, shows up, it's no reason why that the Eagles should not win the division. I have Dallas coming in second as a wild card, Washington finishing third, and of course the Giants finishing fourth.
Yeah, sorry, New York. We just know. I'm glad you're not Michael Irvin though, Ashley, and saying the Cowboys are gonna go undefeated this year. Like,
I gotta have a talk with Big Mike. I don't know what.
Yeah, I just need to put a cold pack on his head, cool him down, because obviously he was a little hot that day. So sometimes you just got to bring folks back to reality, which I have no problem doing, Ashley. But all that again, Washington, like offensively, defensively, Ashley, I think this is the question. So third down defense right now is the big question in Washington. It hurt them last season and the preseason game. It wasn't the best. I think about 61% they let Carolina convert. But again, third down defense is going to be a huge, as you know, we love fans know it. You guys start to yell in the stands when it happens. You don't want them to move the chains. So that's going to be huge. The linebacker position, of course, is the big question for Washington. They've needed solid linebackers, Ashley. Fans have called for solid linebackers. And of course, the defensive front, as you said, last year, on paper, they look nice, but they weren't able to live up to expectations. So this season, it's going to be, can they actually live up to expectations? Too many All-Americans, too many talented players on that defensive line for Washington to not have a solid defense. So Jack Del Rio and company, and Jack Del Rio really didn't do himself that many favors this offseason by some of his comments that he made outside of football. I won't get into that.
I mean, it's always some type of comment or something going on in the nation's capital. That's another story for
all
another
the time,
day.
Ashley. All the time.
Know.
But all that to say, if he can again get a solid linebacker group, Cole Holcomb is a guy that lots of fans obviously love. Jamin Davis, you think about the young guy that they recently drafted. If he can step up, David Mayo, like there's just guys that are going to have to be the next man up in that linebacker crash. And of course, everybody wants Chase Young back, not only because he's a talented football player, but because of his leadership actually off the football field, getting those guys motivated, getting them ready to play. Hopefully injury bug won't hurt Washington. I do think Washington will be solid this year, but again, it's a hard division for them to win. But I think, again, a lot depends on Carson Wentz and what he can do and if the defense can make the necessary stops. I do think Washington, if all goes right, Ashley, though, could be a sleeper team.
I'm hearing that from a lot of people. People love the Commanders as a sleeper team. People love that. So listen, I told y'all, like my girl Kelsey, She know her stuff. So I'm super appreciative of then again that you came in. You were able to
I
give us
appreciate
some
you,
updates
Ashley.
on the Ravens and updates
it.
on the Commanders. I told you,
Of
make sure that
course.
you guys follow her. I'll make sure that you plug everything at the end of the
Of
show.
course. Thank you.
And again, thank you guys again for tuning into About Nothing But Sports right now. Kelsey, tell everybody, what do you have going on? Where can people find you on the next TV show, girl, on the next, on the next red carpet, because you have a million things going on. So what's new with Kelsey?
Oh my gosh. I will say just follow me, you all. Super excited. I have something actually happening next week that I can't announce yet, but follow me so you guys can see this exclusive behind the scenes that I will be giving you guys. I'm excited, Ashley. So follow me at the Real K Nelson. As Ashley said, I just love to be everywhere. You know, just with that NASCAR, football. Obviously, also excited, Ashley, to be watching our Mystics and the WNBA playoffs.
I'm so excited.
Absolutely. Covering all that. This is the best time of the year, honestly, to think about it. Basketball schedule just got released. We're excited for basketball to start next month already. We got media day. Then before you know it, preseason games, training camp for basketball. Obviously, football starting.
I'm licking my chops. This is
so Ashley, I'm gonna be everywhere.
I love it.
You're gonna be everywhere. We're going to be everywhere. Covering all this stuff. So just follow a girl. I'll make sure you guys get your updates, but especially anything DC, Baltimore sports. I love to give that to the people in this area, Ashley, because to me, there's no better place in the world. We're in the most powerful city in the world. So I just love to be able to bring sports knowledge to the folks here, Ashley. So
absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm really excited. We're going to do a quick edition of Rapid Fire, and then I'm going to let you go.
Let's do it. All right,
Rapid Fire is just, again, you were able to tell the listeners just a little bit about yourself. I kind of want them to dig a little deeper. So I'll give you like a this or that type of scenario. And we'll see which way you go.
Ooh, let's do it. All right. I'm ready.
Cool. All right. Beach or mountains?
Ooh, definitely beach. I don't do bugs.
MJ or LeBron?
Are we doing this again, Ashley? MJ. Shout out to when he played here in DC. A girl got to see him play in DC. Also, Mrs. Restaurant in DC, Ashley.
All right. Blue cheese or ranch?
Definitely ranch. I'm not eating molded stuff. Goodbye.
All right. Tyson or Floyd?
Ooh, I'm definitely going Tyson. I'm old school, Ashley.
Like I'm excited. I haven't stumped you yet. But I think I got one. All
right, let's go.
Stomp you. Lil Wayne or Jay-Z?
Oh yeah, that one is hard because Lil Wayne is from the hometown, New Orleans, but then you got Jay-Z in New York. Oh my gosh, I feel like this is putting my southernness and my East Coastness, Ashley, to the core. But growing up, to be fair, girl used to get down to some Lil Wayne songs, Ashley. So I think I'm gonna do Lil Wayne.
I think you're being biased because he's from the South.
I mean, he's from one of the best other cities in the world, folks. New Orleans. Like, come on, what am I supposed to say?
Respect. All right, that's it. You did it. You passed.
I loved it, Ashley.
At the end. I did stomp you at the end.
You did, Ashley. I'm gonna tell you though, he edged me. He edged out because the old basement parties, there was more Lil Wayne playing than Jay-Z. So young Kelsey used to get down.
Can I tell y'all that Kelsey Kelsey thinks she's 50 for real, y'all. It's just crazy. The woman thinks she's 50 years old. The old Kelsey.
I am an old soul, Kelsey. I'm an old soul, Ashley.
Well, listen, sis,
back in the day.
I appreciate you so much for coming on. I was happy that we were able to get this done. I love having you on the show. This is not her first time, people, and of course it will not be her last. So again, Kelsey, just let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
Of course. Thank you again so much, Ashley. Always have fun with the girl. But of course, she's from the DMV. What did I expect?
You know the vibes.
Ashley. But everyone can follow me, The Real K Nelson, on social media. Check out my website, kelseynicole.com. And just on Facebook, just Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Just remember K&N brand. So excited, Ashley, to be here with you. Once again, congrats, girl. So proud of you.
You got to make sure you start jumping into the Twitter Spaces Sports After Dark, man.
I do.
During the games, you have to tap in.
Twitter Spaces. I need to put a reminder because I think I've only been in 3 spaces, Ashley, in my life. I need to do better. Thank you, Ashley.
I'll make sure I send it to you. And again, everybody, thanks for tapping in this week to About Nothing But Sports. You can follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram at @AshleyBaker_21. And you can follow me on Facebook at Ashley Baker. You guys already know. Same place, same time next week. Again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks again, Kelsey, for joining me. And I'll be here next week, guys.
Looking forward to it. Bye, guys.